So you want to get better at Pokemon. That's why you pretty much clicked on this video. Today we're going to talk about pretty much that there's no easy secret success in the Pokemon TCG. What I'm going to give you is a lot of lifelong lessons. I've been playing the game for 15 years now, and I've learned a lot in my time here. And I'm going to kind of teach you guys like how you can actually improve, how you can chase those goals, whether it be to get your first day 2, whether it is to top 8 a regional, whether it's even just to win a League Cup, even top 8 a League Cup, or even win your local challenge. Everyone has different goals, and that is important to note. As we're going through this, just kind of keep in mind that there's a lot of ways that you can adapt this learning strategies to yourself. It's like going to school, right? Like not everyone can learn in the exact same ways. So you want to be able to take what you're learning here today and apply it in the best way possible because it's not so much about, just following exactly what I'm saying bar for bar, but finding something that works for you, showing up every single day and being consistent. Um, the two biggest life lessons I learned while playing the Pokemon TCG for as long as I have is one, you have to be able to be critical of yourself. And that includes wins and losses. There's going to be some games where you win that you didn't necessarily play the best. There's going to be some games where you lost, where you didn't necessarily play poorly, I guess. Like you probably played fine and all of a sudden you lost the game. But you have to look back and think about all the individual moments in each of those games, the individual turns. Where did the game turn? Where did you lose the game? What happened that you could have done better? Because there's no such thing as a perfect game of Pokemon. Players have outplayed others many, many times, and we've seen some very cool moments on stream. And even in tournaments, like if you played a tournament, you've probably had some moments where you think to yourself, I played really, really well that game, and those stick with you. But you have to also think about those really hard losses and what happened in those matchups and how you got there. My second biggest piece of advice is never stop learning. And what I mean by that is surround yourself with people who are going to help you kind of get ahead on your goals and keep helping you keep you honest. Like if you at any point think you are the best player in the room, you're probably doing something wrong. Like you could be a regional champion, a world champion, but the moment you stop thinking about the fact that you can improve and become a better player, that's kind of where your progress as a Pokemon player kind of stops. You may get a couple more good finishes, you may get to worlds, but at some point you're not really improving as a player. And there are so many young, hungry players who are going to come into the game and just eclipse you. Right now, we live in a era of information. So, one of the big things that I recommend for everyone is coaching. Find a coach that suits your tastes. Kind of get that information from them, learn what you're lacking out on and improve on it. You don't need more than like 1 or 2 sessions a lot of the time with the coaches, unless you're doing specific matchup practice or stuff like that. But you can get a lot out of those individual sessions. And what you take with yourself into your practice and how you prepare will help you have a mentality shift. That's kind of what I always preach. There's a lot of players who don't really understand how to progress or tackle things with a goal. And that's kind of what the big thing for coaching should be. It should be not my really cool Dragapult deck or my Gardevoir deck or my Alakazam deck or whatever needs to be improved. It's a lot of how do I take X, Y, and Z, put it into sequencing practice, and how can this coach help me expand how I view the game in this exact moment? Now, um, I think that one of the coolest resources that's readily available to a lot of players right now is guides. There was a back in the day, articles used to be a lot more popular. I used to learn a lot from articles, not just my own, but I would read a lot of other top players' articles. I would actually get a lot of information from them, and it would be very helpful for me to learn because why would I put all these hours in when another player has put it in? For example, I'll just use Jackson here or Henry. Like Jackson is currently the expert of Charizard. Henry is currently the expert of Gardevoir. I'm not. I'm the expert of neither. So why would I put this extra time into myself when I can go ahead and give them a couple of bucks and learn what they have with their wealth of knowledge? And they offer so much for such a good price. And I think there's a lot of players out there who do exactly that. Torden, his Absol class, things like that. So don't be hesitant to like spend a little bit of money just to basically like learn. Like if you were in school, for example, you wouldn't hesitate to spend money on tutoring if you were struggling, right? Like it's the same philosophy, same principle. And a lot of these coaches are very open to answering questions and stuff like that as well. But on the same note, I want to air caution. You don't want to just buy what looks like it's the cheapest. You don't want to buy what just looks like it's a good marketing sham. You want to get someone who you truly believe in as a player and you truly believe in that will lead you to success. Now, not every good player is a good coach, and not every good coach is a good player. There is people who are very good, well suited for teaching, and people who are not the best. So please air that with a little bit of caution. Look at the reviews, see what other people say before purchasing the product, and kind of go in with that mentality. Now, if you're saying, hey, I don't want to spend money on improvement, how can I actually get better, Rahul? Like, I don't want to actually shell this money out. How do I just get better? Well, you're in luck. There's a ton of information. You don't even have to make your own decks. You can go to limitlesstcg.com or play limitlesstcg.com and basically just pick up any list that looks pretty decent and start playing games on PTCG Live. Now, PTCG Live isn't the most flashy, the most alluring. Yes, it is a little bit buggy as a client as well, but it gets the job done. Some of the best players in the game currently, the ones who are the most consistently performing, are putting countless hours right now into PTCG Live, just playing on ladder, putting the time in that other people are refusing to put in, and that's showing in their results. People who are topping the leaderboards consistently, people who are constantly topping the regionals, these guys are spending so much time on ladder that you making excuses saying ladder isn't good practice isn't translating. It doesn't make sense when some of these players are on one, two, maybe even three accounts, pushing themselves into the Arceus tier and just putting the practice in. Just by turning off your brain and playing some Pokemon, you're not getting any good practice. You have to be thinking about each of your plays. Every game that you play should have some value to you. Maybe you play like a Donk deck or something all the way up to Arceus, but once you're in Arceus, lock in, sit down. Maybe you're playing 2, 3, 4 games a day, but just make sure each one of those games counts. Make sure you learn something from each one of those games and put a lot of practice in, and make it good practice. Whether it's like testing out one card versus another card. Like, how often do I think this boss's orders is good versus this other card? And now this also translates to in-person testing. If you're testing with friends, a lot of the time it shouldn't be about winning the individual game that's in front of you. It's about, hey, if I make this play, the game ends right now and it's over, but let's put our hands down and talk about it for a second. What if we do a different play here? And if we do a different play, how can we affect the game? That way you're not only getting one scenario, because you know that in one scenario, if you make a play, the game just ends right there. What happens in the second scenario? Let's rewind the game. Let's get more practice in this way, because we don't really care about the whole setup phase in the early parts of the game. Let's just get to the meat and greet of the meat of it. Sorry, and just play out these scenarios that you might not otherwise get. Now, a big thing you should do is always, there's YouTube videos out there, there's articles out there, there's a lot of free content out there for you to absorb. There are some wonderful YouTubers, Azul, Omnipoke, um, LDF, Zapdos TCG, like all these guys are putting out such informative content for you that you should happily absorb it. You can put a lot of time in and you can learn a lot from this YouTube content as well. YouTube, between the free YouTube article, YouTube, the online tournaments, you can get a lot of practice in before you even go into your first regional tournament. Now, one of my biggest advice is, if you're newer to the game, stick to one deck. Just, you don't have to flip flop around. You don't have to say like, oh, Gardevoir is the flavor of the month. Oh, Goldango won this regionals, but the regionals before Flareon did really well, and the regionals before Gardevoir did really well, and Dragapult did really well the regional before. No, you don't have to switch around. Stick to the deck that you like and you are more comfortable with, because confidence at the end of the day is key. Whether it be a 5 round League Cup that goes into top 8, whether it is a 9 round regional with a day 2 into top cut, each individual round matters. Each individual minute, each individual action matters. And when you're playing with an unfamiliar deck, you're going to be more likely to make mistakes, because you're going to start second guessing yourself in positions of pressure. Myself included, I've done that plenty of times. Even the most top player has done that in situations. So don't feel ashamed about it. But if you stick to one deck, and the more you practice with that one deck that you're more comfortable with, you will be able to perform. You'll be able to perform to the standard that you have set, and you won't be leaving that round or that tournament feeling like you made a lot of mistakes and that you could have done a lot better. And if you lose games by your own mistakes, it's a pretty bad feeling. So in essence, there's a lot of paid content out there, guides, classes, people's discords. Like, there's opportunity for you to learn as a player, or you can use the free content aspect and get significantly better. And finding a testing group is just find people around you that have the same goal, same idea, and you can work towards a similar goal as you're going. But it doesn't necessarily have to be people who are better than you or people who are there. It's just people who have the same common goal of improving, and that will go a significantly long way compared to what you guys even realize. Now, hopefully this helps you out. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I will do a further Q&A video down the line, just answer some more questions and stuff like that. I want every single person here to improve. My goal as a content creator is to help you guys achieve your goals, and that whether that may be, like I said, winning the League Cup, making it to Worlds, day two a regional, whatever that may be. I'm going to put my utmost full forth effort to basically get you guys to that goal. So thank you for watching, and please, like and subscribe. It just helps out the channel.